Stakes. Stuart.
And TAHIYRA moves in. That's it. They're all in. They're off. The Group 1 Coronation Stakes, first run in 1840. The Old Mile stretches before them. An early pace, such as it is, comes from Meditate in the hands of Ryan Moore in the blue and orange, with Sounds of Heaven, the yellow cap, now moving up to apply a little bit of pressure. Queen for You in a pale jacket drops in at the running rail. Mama's Girl in the violet silks is now adopting a more prominent position. He's beginning to sweep round the field to get within 3 parts of a length of the lead. Nose Bandit 1.5 furlongs, and TAHIYRA dropped out last of the half dozen as they make the steady ascent towards the 5 marker. Yeah, and it's Meditate and Ryan Moore leading up, but only narrowly, to Sounds of Heaven. And then Mama's Girl out wide to Queen for You, Remarquee, and TAHIYRA in the emerald green, looking on as they approach halfway. It's about to make the swing for home in the Coronation Stakes, and Ryan Moore setting the fractions here on Meditate, leads by 3 parts of a length to Sounds of Heaven. Mama's Girl in a violet jacket has got a wide trip as they reach the crown of the turn, followed into the straight by the Nose Bandit. TAHIYRA breezing along out on the right, then Remarquee, Queen for You, pink jacket, looking for a way through up the running rail. Down inside the last 2 furlongs they come. Meditate up the rail. Here goes TAHIYRA though, beginning to power down the outside, and TAHIYRA beginning a very strong looking run has come sweeping through to take over inside the furlong. TAHIYRA forges on from Sounds of Heaven. Meditate battling away. Remarquee keeping on in behind. TAHIYRA merely being nudged out. This classy filly wins the Coronation Stakes for Dermot Weld. Remarquee disputing second with Sounds of Heaven, and back in fourth Meditate.
Well, the odds-on favourite has done it, TAHIYRA, and she gives Dermot Weld his first Royal Ascot winner since 2015. He'll be thrilled with that and a little relieved, Jim.
Yes, it's some 50 years since his first. What a trainer. His huge, long-standing team, and his sons play a huge part in the operation as well. But yes, as you say, Alex, he's had a relatively quiet season. There's no getting away from that, but this is a brilliant filly, and as the old cliche goes, he knows how to train it.
Look, our socks are still on. They weren't knocked off at all. But let's put this into context of not 1 but 2 hard races on the spring, on the back of what you said about her appearance at Newmarket. It's been an intensive first part of the campaign for her, but she's passed 2 tests very, very comfortably indeed. And I think it is still just a platform for her. And Seb, these circumstances weren't conducive to a horse winning by a wide margin.
No, I mean, you know, the thing is, I don't think they want to be in front too long. But with the pace of the race, and you can't take a horse out of stride, especially when they've gone as steady as they did, you've got to keep rolling. And, you know, although they were obviously trying not to be in front too long, he had no choice but to go when he did. I think she has just, you know, had a look when she's there, because, you know, Remarquee finishes off pretty strong, but was that just TAHIYRA just going through the motions?
I thought Chris Hayes was trying to hold on to his filly. He never really grabbed hold of her and said stretch.
No.
I think they're maybe mindful of the going, and she's done everything she had to do.
Yes.
As Jamie said, the tactics weren't conducive for something to win 1,000,000 miles, but the speed she showed to go and put a seal on it, never mind the last 50 yards or so, was impressive.
The speed she shows for a filly who perhaps is destined for 1.25 miles and maybe is even 1.5 miles in time. And that is the question now. What next for her? She's completed phase 2 of her career, contesting 2 Guineas and now a Coronation Stakes. She's won 2 of those. And what does her future hold now? Because the speed that she showed, not just this day, to swoop by the field and put a seal on things, but I still think back to the Moyglare. I don't think, Jim, we've seen yet this year the filly who we saw in the Moyglare, because that was about as impressive as it gets from a 2-year-old.
No, I know what you mean. Just a slightly tightened up Remarquee there as TAHIYRA edged in, but it's made no odds, the result. Remarquee's finished second. Yeah, there's the steward's inquiry.
Yeah, Stewart's Inquiry Klaxon has just gone, so the head-on we'll maybe have another little look at in just a moment. Seb, do you think she would have been more impressive had there been a little bit more ease in the ground?
A bit more ease in the ground and a bit more pace. It would have really suited her. I mean, this filly's got a serious turn of foot when they've gone quick, and you know, to pass horses that are still picking up themselves. I was impressed with her because nothing that they did in the race suited her style of running.
Now, what's really interesting here, as I mentioned, is sorry, do you want to pass comment on the head-on?
No, let's just have another look at the head-on, because they have called an inquiry.
So you can see she's just starting to look slightly right-handed. I presume that's what they're looking at, Jamie.
Yeah, well, and would a filly or a horse do that if they're feeling the ground, Seb? Is that a symptom of that?
I just think, you know, the jockey had his stick in his left hand and she was just stepping that way, but she hasn't even gone half a horse, really. I mean, she'd maybe give the second horse a nudge, but hasn't changed the outcome of the race.
She's drifted right as she's asserted, hasn't she? And there's no doubt, you see here now, Remarque is forced to take a check. Has that cost Remarque a chance of winning? Personally, I don't think so. The best horse has won the race. Remarque might have given her a little bit more, but I don't think she'd have beaten her, because if you watch Chris Hayes in front, all he's trying to do is pull the bit through in her mouth and keep her balanced, and I think she had something left as well.
It's a question the trainers dislike, because they just want to enjoy the moment and appreciate what their horse has done here. But the question I'm most interested in is what next, because you look at her entries and more to the point, what she's not entered in. She's not in the Irish Champion, she's not in the Sussex, she's not in the Arc. So whatever the plan for the second half of the season, it's really interesting, but Dermot Weld will certainly have something in mind.
Yeah, he will definitely have a plan for sure as she comes back into the winner's enclosure. For your information, the races that she is in, she's in the Pretty Polly Stakes, albeit that's coming in a very short amount of time, about a week's time. She's in the Irish Oaks towards the end of July, and she's in the Matron Stakes over a mile in September. We'll find out a little bit more for you as Chris Hayes pops off, but she returned the 8-13 favourite TAHIYRA, the winner of the Coronation Stakes.